If credit cards are used responsibly, then they can be a really powerful financial tool. A lot of new credit card users make the mistake of abusing their credit cards in the beginning, and they end up shooting themselves in the foot in the long run. So my goal for this video is to hopefully arm you guys with a bit of knowledge so that way you guys can avoid these rookie credit card mistakes. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so that way you don't skip out on any valuable information that can help you out. Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Ish. Welcome back to my channel, Just Money. For those of you that are new to my channel, Just Money, I pretty much go over financial related topics such as personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics. So if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. But in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So before I give you guys 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner, I just want to give a quick example on what the difference is between an unsecured credit card and a secured credit card, for those that don't know. A secured credit card is for people that have little to no credit or are trying to rebuild their credit. And how you obtain a secured credit card is by putting a refundable security deposit, and that initial deposit then becomes your initial credit limit amount. So for example, if I get a secured credit card and I put a security deposit amount of, let's say, $300, then that $300 then becomes your initial credit limit amount. Banks are going to require this because you have little to no credit established and there's no form of trust yet. But the good thing about these secured credit cards is they report to the 3 major credit bureaus, which are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And by using and paying the secured credit card every month, your credit score will then start to rise. You typically can get a secured credit card at credit unions such as Navy Federal, or you can look for one online such as the Discover It card. And by you making payments on it every month, your credit score will inevitably start to rise. And once your credit score starts to rise, then you'll finally be eligible to apply for something called a unsecured credit card. Now, an unsecured credit card is a credit card that doesn't require a security deposit. They're called unsecured credit cards because they are not backed up with collateral such as secured credit cards. So in other words, you don't have to put a security deposit down in order to receive the unsecured credit card. Unsecured credit cards are more common than secured credit cards are, and they're available to individuals with average to excellent credit scores. If you have an unsecured credit card, then you most likely have decent credit and the bank actually trusts you to have a credit card. And these unsecured credit cards tend to come with credit limits on them that are just given to you without collateral. It's based on your credit worthiness. So if you apply for an unsecured credit card and they give you a credit limit of, let's say, $1,000, then you don't have to put any money down to receive that $1,000 credit limit. It's just given to you. But anyways, now that you know the difference between a secured credit card and a unsecured credit card, let's talk about 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. Okay, so number 1 is going to be hitting your credit limit. You do not want to hit your credit limit. A lot of people get their first credit card and automatically assume they have access to all this money, which they kind of do, but what a lot of people fail to realize is by spending more than 30% of your credit limit, your credit utilization ratio will start to be too high. And if your credit utilization ratio starts to be too high, then your credit score will start to go down. And it's probably going to go down significantly too, because 30% of your credit score comes from your credit utilization. So that's pretty close to half of what your whole entire credit score is made up of. If you have a credit limit of, let's say, $1,000 and you spend that whole $1,000 and you're maxed out on that credit card, then your credit score will significantly drop because your utilization ratio will be at 100%. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a huge mistake. You do not want to be that person. You don't want to be that person because you're gonna have to pay all of that back. And if you don't pay it back in the same billing cycle, then you're most likely gonna be charged interest. For those that don't know what interest is, it's pretty much the money that you are being charged to borrow the money. And if you're getting carried away by all that spending that you're doing on the credit card, for some people, it might be a little tough to pay all that back in the same billing cycle. So more than likely, you're gonna have to make minimum payments on it and be charged interest. And if you're in a situation to where you can't pay a significant amount of your credit card off, then you're gonna be charged interest every month. They'll keep charging you interest and then you're gonna be stuck in a vicious cycle. I personally seen so many people get stuck in a vicious cycle of making payments every month because it's hard for them to pay their credit cards off. They end up maxing out their credit cards and then they only can afford to make the minimum payments every month. And since they're only doing the minimum payment, then they're being charged interest every month. And by making the minimum payment only and then paying the interest every month on top, then you're not really making a huge dent on your credit card as far as paying it down. You will super slowly but surely inevitably pay off your credit card in due time. But while doing this, the bank has made a lot of money off of you. And a lot of people will tend to say, oh well, this is why I stay away from credit cards. They're no good for you. They're dangerous. The short answer to that is you just have to be responsible. A lot of people don't like to take accountability for their actions, but the truth is most of our problems are self-inflicted. So just make sure to be responsible and avoid this mistake. If you have a credit limit of $1,000, then just make sure you don't pass 30% of that $1,000. So again, if you have a credit limit of $1,000, then you're going to want to spend less than 30%, which is $300. You shouldn't be going any more than those $300. But if you really want to be in good standing, then I wouldn't spend more than 10%. 10% of $1,000 is $100. Okay, now moving on to reason number 2 of 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. The second credit card mistake you're going to want to avoid is applying for too many credit cards in a short amount of time. Now, you can apply for as many credit cards as you like, but if you do, then you're gonna regret it. When you submit a credit card application, the card issuer will pull from your credit history, and this is known as a hard inquiry every time that they do this. If you're applying for too many credit cards left and right, then you're gonna have too many hard inquiries on your credit. Normally, when you get one hard inquiry, your credit score tends to drop a little bit temporarily and usually goes back up in due time. But by getting multiple hard inquiries at the same time, not only does your credit score go down, but now you will look like a risk to lenders. Lenders will start to question you and say, why does this guy need so many credit cards so quickly? Suspicion will then start to raise, and that will ultimately lead to you getting denied for a credit card. I personally would recommend to only apply for new credit cards as needed. Ideally, not more than once every 6 months. Take advantage of some of these pre-qualification tools that some of these credit card websites offer. So that way you'll know if you're approved or not before you apply. And knowing if you pre-qualify or not before you apply for the credit card, that'll help you prevent getting a hard pull on your credit. And that's a hard inquiry. You don't want a hard inquiry. Okay, now moving on to reason number 3 of 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. The third credit card mistake you're going to want to avoid is misunderstanding interest. Okay, so again, credit card interest is the cost of borrowing money. The good news is you can avoid paying interest charges on new purchases if you pay your balance in full by the due date every month. Now, depending on what credit card you get, that will determine what your interest rate will be on that specific credit card. Some credit cards have higher interest rates than others do, so just make sure that's the card that you want to go with before you apply. Also, there's a lot of credit cards out there that offer something called a 0% intro APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate. A 0% APR gives you the ability to not pay any interest while still using the card every month. Usually some credit cards have an enticing bonus that you would receive if you choose to sign up with them. And sometimes the bonus is a 0% intro APR from when you first receive the card all the way up to 24 months, depending on the card issuer. A 0% intro APR can be a good thing in the event that maybe you need to do something called a balance transfer. A balance transfer is when you already have an existing credit card and you're taking the debt on that credit card and transferring it to the new credit card. And if you're transferring the debt that you already had on the credit card onto a credit card that has a 0% APR, then you wouldn't be paying any interest on that card at all. You would just make the minimum payment every month with no interest. That's a hack. Now, sometimes there is a balance transfer fee to do this, but sometimes the new credit card that you are obtaining has a no balance transfer fee, so that's awesome. A credit card that's out right now at the time of this recording that has a 0% intro APR for the first 15 months is the Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card. Now, I made a video not too long ago doing a review on the Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card. If you guys are interested in that, then I will put it in the description below. It'll be the first link. And also, if you guys are interested in signing up for the Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card, then there will be a referral link in the description below that will let you apply directly. It'll be the second link in the description below. That credit card is honestly a really great starter card. It was personally my very first credit card. I started out with a $1,200 credit limit about 8 years ago, and honestly, since I've owned the card, it's helped me out so much. I started building my credit to the excellent level beginning with that credit card. So with that credit card and about 9 other different credit cards that I have, altogether my credit limits across all my cards put together add up to over 100,000 in credit limits nowadays. And I'm only saying this because we've all had to start somewhere before. And hopefully by me saying this, I can inspire a few of you guys to get going on your credit journey. Okay, now moving on to reason number 4 of 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. The fourth credit card mistake you're going to want to avoid is closing your credit card. If you end up closing your credit card, then you will lose all of that credit card's history and credit limits. Earlier in this video, we talk about credit card utilization and how credit card utilization makes up about 30% of your overall credit score. If you close a credit card, then you will lose that credit limit. Therefore, your new credit utilization ratio will be higher again because your overall credit just went lower because you canceled the card, thus triggering a credit score decrease. It's better to keep unused credit cards open than just canceling them. And I say this because even unused credit cards with a 0 balance will still report positive information to the credit bureaus. And it's especially worthwhile to keep the unused card open if the account doesn't have any annual fees on it. Last but not least, moving on to reason number 5 of 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. The 5th credit card mistake you're going going to want to avoid is missing a payment. Missing a payment is the worst thing you can do on a credit card. If you miss a payment, then you're gonna have to pay something called a late fee. And late fees tend to vary depending on the card issuer that you have. If you miss a payment 1 month, then these companies can charge you a late fee. Now, if you miss a payment on the second month, then they can charge you an even higher late fee than the first month. Also, if you wait more than 30 days to make a payment from the day you were supposed to, then your credit score will be severely damaged. And it only takes one time, guys, so be smart. That kind of negative information can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. Now, to prevent this, you might want to consider using automatic payments every month. That, or just set a reminder up a few days before to give you a heads up that your payment is coming up. 35% of your credit score comes from your payment history, and the other 30% of your credit score comes from your credit utilization. So that's 65%. More than half of your credit score is going to come from your payment history and your credit utilization. So my biggest advice would be to make your guys' payments on time and keep your credit utilization under 30%. But if you can, really keep it under 10%. But that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Those are 5 credit card mistakes to avoid as a beginner. I hope you guys found value in any of this information. If you guys are interested in knowing more about personal and business credit, real estate, or other financial related topics, then I would definitely consider subscribing, because that is what we do on this channel. We talk about credit cards such as Chase, American Express, Navy Federal, etc. And also, if you guys are interested in getting high limits on your credit cards, that is something we also do on this channel. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, then I truly do appreciate you guys. We're at 7,717 subscribers at the time of this recording, so I do appreciate all who watch. I do post every Sunday and Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific time, so be there. And also, for those of you that do not know, I am also a licensed real estate agent here in Southern California, so if you're looking to buy or sell or have any questions in regards to real estate, then I would be happy to help you out. Also, depending on the time you're watching this video, I will be a licensed mortgage loan originator, so if you're looking to obtain a mortgage loan, then I can help you out with that as well. I go by the name of Ismael Sandiford, and I will see you next video. Thanks for watching.